The views expressed in this presentation are those of the host and guests and do not represent the views of any lodge, Grand Lodge, appended body, or any other person or persons whomsoever.
Brothers, we are at Refreshment.
I'll sit in the corner and look cool and be like, what up? That's me.
I don't want to talk about you either, Marty, but here we are.
Just because my style isn't death.
I truly regret this already.
I regret this.
A 10 of beer, faithful press.
Oh man, it is great. I can feel this.
That's assuming anybody even watches the podcast.
The 5 minutes that I watched, I really did enjoy it.
5, 4, 3.
Welcome everyone to the At Refreshment Masonic video podcast. I'm your host, Wesley Reuter, and let's meet everyone else on the show. We've got
Will Anfeld, Elmhurst Lodge.
Illuminati confirmed.
Marty, everything is fine. Nothing's going wrong. Villa Park Lodge.
Hi.
Hi.
You don't have a name?
No. No, what's up, everybody? I'm Yoshi, Villa Park Lodge. I've said it, all the other stuff before, so you know.
Might be a cool guy.
Might be a cool guy, probably not, but you know.
Are you approved?
Not anymore.
Approved.
And our guest today, you may have recognized him from other episodes. We have
I am Mark Noakes, Palatine Lodge, Rising Sun Lodge, and your international first vice president of High 12 International.
Ooh.
And also an honorary member of SeaWorld Lodge.
Mark, why did you say international twice? You're the international president of an international organization?
He's an international man of mystery.
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide. Mr. Worldwide.
So
I plead the fifth.
we have here today the Intender program. We were talking, I guess other states have something similar to what we have now. This is on the threshold. So this is what we give the guys that walk in the door that are interested in signing a petition or have signed a petition in our lodges here in Illinois.
Wes, for certain states and jurisdictions that don't have a similar program, do you think you can give a quick synopsis of it?
Well, I was hoping you guys were going to give me a synopsis of it.
Yeah, I would love to give you a synopsis of this book.
Oh, I'm sure he would. I don't know. No, go for it.
So On the Threshold is basically the first step in the Intender program. This is once you come in and express interest and submit a petition, we actually give you this book. And this book's main purpose is really to baseline your understanding of Masonry. So everybody comes in having different ideas of what our origins are, whether or not Nicolas Cage is going to pop out and give you a treasure map, whether or not you're going to get some cool fancy stuff going on. But what this book actually does is tells you how Masonry actually started. It separates all the facts from fiction. Tells you basically what you're getting yourself into. A 300-year-old organization. Talks about the difference between speculative Masonry,
Operative Masonry.
and operative Masonry.
Okay.
It's like I said, it's your starting point to get everybody on the level from the beginning.
Yeah, but now the thing is, though, not every jurisdiction, not every state has that. You know, me and Marty know a guy we were friends with years ago that he just recently, I don't even think it's a year yet, he's been raised a Master Mason. When I talked to him about it, some of the verbiage he used was really unfamiliar, so I was just guessing at what it was. But when I mentioned, in tender books and everything, he's like, oh no, we don't have that here. Everything is mouth to ear. And I'm like, whoa, that's seriously old school right there.
Yeah, I believe the first thing when he was talking was that he threw me off is what we call a catechism here in Illinois, where you do your short and long form proficiency.
Yeah.
I believe they called it turning in your work.
Yes, yeah. That's true. It was it was called that.
I kind of like that.
Some say turning in your work, others say return the work.
Yeah.
And that might be what he actually said.
Return the work.
I'm actually
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd love to tell you what state he's in, but I don't know if it's either Arkansas or Oklahoma, and at 35 years old, it's too late to admit I can't tell the difference.
Oklahoma, maybe?
Oklahoma.
Wait a couple more years.
That's funny.
Yeah, so in other jurisdictions, you'll get a combination of them having a book with a predefined program. Other jurisdictions, it's all, ear to mouth, where I'm teaching you the secrets one-on-one. Some will give you a well-defined catechism of here's something you actually have to memorize and go back and forth with a guy. There's some jurisdictions that will actually give you legitimate Masonic homework, like here's a topic from your degree, you've got to write me a paper, and you come back and actually present that research paper in open lodge.
Really?
We do a little of that here with some of the appendant bodies, I believe.
I know somebody that made their good friend do that before he would let them go through the next degree.
Is it someone on the show?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought
I
just know I'm not mentioning names.
I was going to say, I'm happy if I can get a guy to do a catechism, let alone write a paper.
Yeah, no, yeah.
You know what the paper he wrote was about?
Masonry.
That's a vast subject.
That's a good start. That is a good start.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, like do some real research.
I don't know. I'm guessing because the conversation was a number of years ago that it was about what he went through and what the degree means. Mm-hmm. So, but that's my guess because I don't remember the full conversation, but I do remember the one guy telling me that. I'm like, really? I'm like, wow, I'm glad I didn't have to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, it is actually something that, to some degree, lodges in Illinois actually do. I know my personal lodge, our intender program, we follow the book for stuff you have to learn. But in between each degrees, from an education standpoint, I'll actually assign my guys homework, and then we'll have an intender night where I expect them to come back in, and I've given them kind of a guided discussion topic, and then they have to present something back to me.
But you're not looking for wrong or right answers. You're looking for.
You're looking for their caring about it.
Yes,
they're taking
engagement.
Yeah, I'm looking. One, I want to see that you're actually putting the work in because I don't want to raise lazy Masons. I'm looking for people who are here for the right reasons and they're engaged and they actually want to spend the time to put the effort in.
You just insulted our guest.
Well, Mark, I would I would never insult Mark Noakes.
No, actually, Will, I'll use a word that you want them to be intentional about coming into Masonry. You want that's what you want to do, be intentional.
Yeah, and I mean, I try so hard to explain to my new guys coming in that the greatest lie anyone is ever going to tell them is Masonry is one night a month. And I want my intender
with the
program,
gas prices, it's going to be one night a month.
I want my intender program to reflect that. I want these guys to know that, Masonry, it's not self-help. We're not a 12-step program. I don't just tap you on the shoulder and you're a good man all of a sudden. You got to put the work in. You got to want it.
You got to want to work on yourself. You need to want to chip away at your rough ashlar.
But I feel when you get to know guys, as we've all gotten to know each other, whether there's good days and bad days we have with each other, but we learn off each other. We chisel some things off. I mean,
definitely.
We have our moments. Most of them are better than
And part of that
moments, but they're all good learning moments.
When you look at the guys at this table, I mean, we're all everywhere, and not only are we all everywhere, we're all active everywhere.
Yeah.
None of us are show up just to be in the picture guy.
I'm very tired.
Yeah, I'm very tired.
I'm confused.
I mean,
there's some nights that are just
you are.
If I get my one night a month off, that's good. If I can show up and at least know what body I'm there for, and fingers crossed I might get some ritual, that's good. And I want to set that expectation for guys coming in that, if you just want to get out of the house one night a month to get away from the wife and just have dinner, your experience isn't going to be the same. It's not going to be what's promised to you.
No.
Well, you see that. Have you ever ran into a guy and you just run into him on the street, he sees your ring or emblem on your car, you get into a short conversation, he tells you, hey, I'm a Mason, awesome, what lodge are you with? He'll mention a lodge, you probably know who does, and then you go, oh, I know so-and-so over there, are you friends with them? No, I don't think I've ever met him. I'm like, well, that's weird, I think that guy's at almost every meeting.
Yep.
The dude's super happy to show you his dues card, super happy to point to the emblem on his car, but he's not active.
Yeah.
And really intending and being like, one of the most played out sayings is you get what you put in.
It's so true. No, it is true. You're not. If you don't put in the time, you don't put in the work, you don't put in the effort, you're not going to get anything. If you just show up just to sit there and listen to the minutes, well, that's what Masonry is for you. If you show up,
or don't even show up.
Don't even show up for that.
But sometimes you need the guy that's just going to listen to the minutes because we're all like, that sounds great.
Yeah, well, I mean, we need those guys, but I mean, I don't know that any lodge can tell you that they need more of those guys. Because the guys that you have are plenty of those guys, and what you want is, you've got that cliche of you get out of it what you put in, but for a brand new guy who's coming in, he doesn't know what he needs to put in.
Right.
So when you're that intender, when you're that Masonic mentor, and you can sit down with that guy and go, look, like, this isn't just you're going to show up once a month and sit on the sidelines. Like, we got this ritual. You got to learn the ritual. You got to understand the ritual. You need to come up with your own ideas for this stuff.
See, there. I don't know. I don't know who said this saying, but it's if you this one. I'm quoting somebody, and I don't remember who it was, but it was a pretty decent saying.
If it's a good quote, I'm gonna claim it.
Okay, good. It's you. If you want to see your future, look at the people that are around you. Okay, And honestly, the way everything is, and the people who I am surrounded by, I feel that going forward in Masonry, I'm going to have a good time.
I think what you're referring to is Epictetus.
Okay, maybe I don't know. I am not
I believe
100%.
that's
But
weird.
what I'm trying to get at with that is,
Did you say the guy's name was Epicteto?
Epictetus.
I think I had one of his drinks earlier tonight.
I'll take an Epictetos and cranberry, please.
But no, Yash, I completely agree with what you're saying, and I look at it like I'm currently a sitting worshipful master. And in Illinois, when you're a worshipful master, you serve a 1-year term unless the lodge for some reason decides to keep you around.
Yeah.
Which means in my 1 year in an organization that I'm in charge of, there is only so much I can do. The train's already left the station, it's bolting down, like I can't get that train to move. But my real legacy are those guys that are coming up behind me. And I'm not talking about the wardens, I'm not talking about the deacons.
Yeah.
It's the stewards, those guys that you appointed to those positions, and then the new guys that are coming in.
Right.
It's like, that's your legacy.
But see, that's what I was trying to get at is that, with surrounding yourself with those people, you need the new guys that are coming in. You do kind of need to like usher them in and be like, look, this is what Masonry can be, not just sitting there arguing about light bulbs. Or just listening to, all right, we got to pay this bill. Are we paying the bill? Or are we not? Which is going to get paid anyway. I love that. So are we paying these bills? Yeah, they're common bills. They've got to get paid.
I've always waited for Lodge to take like a militant stance against the garbage service and be like, no, we're not paying for that dumpster no more.
Look, we've been trying to get because we don't even use our garbage that much, and they charge us for like 3 visits? 2 visits? We only need it done like once.
That was actually my first meeting as an entered apprentice. We had a 35-minute debate on how many times the garbage should be picked up over the summer.
You know what? Sometimes though, I love sitting back and especially when I'm not an officer, when I'm a sideliner, I just love sitting there and be like,
As somebody who sidelined many meetings in your lodge, listening to hour-long debates about changing light bulbs, it ain't fun on the sidelines watching.
You know what?
Is that all in the intender on the threshold?
Hey, gentlemen, I'm going to bring you back.
You know what? They should put that in there.
Masonic light bulbs.
All right, I'm going to circle you back around to this booklet. All this is a tool.
We don't circle, we square in Masonry.
Yeah, you should probably square your
It's
corner
a
back
fourth
to that
part
book
of a
if you
square.
Yeah, you keep circling. We're checking that dues card.
No, but I mean, you bring up a great point.
Yeah, but this is a tool. There's a lot of good things in here.
Oh, yeah.
And our job, the 4 of us, is to set expectations. That's all. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Not everything's in this booklet.
No, I mean,
Not everything's in there.
There's 3 more to go with
It's a good
it's
blueprint to help you on your journey.
It's the baseline of what you need to do to prove suitable proficiency. But if you want to make an active Mason, you got to go above and beyond the baseline.
Okay.
In the state, in the state of Illinois, we're very lucky. Not only do we have this, we have a program to go through. We have standard work. So when you walk throughout the entire state, everybody should be doing close to the same thing, and they can be comfortable when you walk in. When you walk into other jurisdictions, what the heck's going on here? What's the difference between F and AM and AF and AM? Learning those things is part of that, but it's nice to know.
In here, they talk about that. Like, all right, page 2, it opens up. Masonry tries to educate its members about the principles of personal responsibility and righteousness, understanding of the feeling of Freemasonry's character, and applying these lessons in practice in daily life. I mean, the responsibility thing it says it right there. I mean, there's no surprise that there is responsibility in Freemasonry, but there's also righteousness. So you got to be doing the right things. If you want to be a better man, it starts with you.
Yep.
Yes, you're going to bounce off of all the other guys in Lodge, but it has to start with you. You have to be able to be willing to accept and execute responsibility.
No, yeah, you have to have your own willingness, and you have to have that upstanding man to guide you. Your intender is important to you, in my opinion. It really, truly is.
It's the most important thing you can have.
It really is. If you're going to take a new guy, a new brother under your wing, you need to set that example. You really do. And if I don't want to say if you fail them, but if you do it, man,
Worst feeling in the world.
It is. It is a bad feeling. It's like, there's been a few guys that we've brought in, and there's always that saying, guard the West Gate, but sometimes you pull for somebody and you do what you can, and they don't.
There's no crappier feeling than you usher a guy through his degrees, you're there for him, and then the guy just disappears.
Yeah,
because that's 100% a reflection on you and the job that you did.
Yeah,
ushering him along on his journey.
And then you think, what did I do?
But is that also what their expectation did? Not that we met it, but did the fraternity meet their expectation? Were they expecting something else?
With one of the guys, me and him talked. Me and him talked at length, and he was like, "It's not what I thought it was going to be." His main thing was just time and money. He just started a family and everything, and I know time and money.
Not time and money, but I actually know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And it was probably the crappiest thing I had to watch Yoshi go through.
Yeah.
And it's important to actually tell this story now because it's on my mind. So Yoshi, his other best friend, who's not me, joined the lodge at some point as well. He didn't quite get involved, and it didn't really pan out for a variety of reasons. He ended up not properly demitting from the lodge, and Yoshi's first meeting in the East as master, he had to, non-payment of dues, suspend his other best friend.
Yeah.
That sucked.
No, I did. It's like, I tried to be like, dude, are you coming back? Blah blah blah. But like I said, we had a long talk and everything, and it came down. He's like, nah, man. I just and I'm like, look, bro, I don't want to do this. And he's like, nah, man. If you got to do it, do it. It's fine. I'm like, no. You're not understanding what I'm saying. I don't want to do this. And it finally clicked. And he's like, I'm sorry, man, but you're going to have to. And I was like, all right. And I was like, all right. And I signed my name.
Oh my God. He delivered that with the same callousness of like a dad like leaving
No.
It wasn't
like that.
You're the man of the house now.
It was a good conversation and everything. He had his points and his reasons and everything, and I totally understand where he was coming from. But I heard it in his voice, and he's like, I can't right now. So you're going to have to go ahead and do it. Like I don't want to say gave me permission to do it, but he was like, it was more of like, look, dude, I understand. And, I did.
Let me ask you this question.
Go ahead.
I may be wrong here. Did you set his expectations in the wrong manner?
Well, you gotta understand something. Me and him came through this together. We got raised together.
Okay.
So this was a journey that me and him were going to take. With a couple other guys that we knew.
Okay, when you both went through, you both Master Masons. Mm-hmm. Were his expectations met? And did you both have those same expectations?
Well, and I guess the better question is, did he have an intender or a mentor that actually sat down with him and went, all right, brother, you just got your first degree. What are you looking for out of Masonry? What are you trying to accomplish?
That's a great question, because what happens, and people don't realize that, they get investigated, they get their first degree. We, as full-fledged voting members, have the obligation to make sure that they are progressing at a level that will get them to that next degree. Mm-hmm. And if we don't feel that they're progressing to that level, that discussion needs to be had sincerely before they go forward to stop what just happened to Yoshi. And I've done it. I've had to do that. Stop somebody in their progression. It just didn't work for them. And we shook hands. We're still friends. Mm-hmm. But some people, it just doesn't work.
Yeah,
it just doesn't work.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, I think it is for everybody, but not everybody is for this. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, like what's that saying? Any man could be a Mason, but not every man can be a Mason.
Not every man should be.
Or something like that. I can't remember that quote now either.
Well, interesting factoid, rounding back to that gentleman who...
squaring back.
Yeah, so actually when he got in...
Swimming.
Because I had beat everybody out of our little friend circle in by 2-3 years.
Yeah.
So he was supposed to be the one that was really about it, and Yoshi was just kind of coming along for the heck of it. and like Yoshi's like, yeah, I mean, I'll do this because I guess you're both doing it, but I really don't care. I don't want to be an officer. I don't want to do this. I don't want. And the dude who did get he was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do the other. Talking this huge game, and then like. Now it's like, all right, well, Yoshi's like next to king of the world of masonry, and this dude's sitting at home on a non-payment of dues status. But that's also funny because sometimes when you intend, I've actually dealt with this before, where some guys come in. We had one guy who joined our lodge. I set the expectation with him and all the other guys. I thought this one gentleman that came with them, like, man, this guy's gonna be the future of the lodge. He's retired. He's kind of young, but he's young for being retired. And I'm like, and he wants this. He's going to be the future. And there was another guy who came in, and he outright said, like, I don't really get why this is a thing. I'm passionate about Shriners Hospitals for Children. I am here just as a road to that.
Yep.
And he was very out of it. I was like,
he was very honest.
Like,
very honest.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, okay, well, cool. I get it. I get why you're passionate about that. You're going to go through the steps with everybody else. And I thought we'd raise him. He'd go do his thing at the shrine. We'd never see him again. If I had to place money on it, that's how it would have happened.
Yeah, I remember having those conversations.
And but here's what the crazy part is. That dude who I thought was going to be this rock star vanished. And then the guy who I thought I'd never see again, I talk to like daily because he's my treasurer.
Yeah.
And he's like the strongest, one of the strongest elements of our lodge.
Yeah, he really...
So it's kind of funny. That's 2 times over where... By the book, we took it to the steps that it needed to be, but it was that individual that took it to the level they needed to take it to. So where it says personal responsibility, that's great, but I think it's more personal accountability.
No, that's true too. It's like, you know what, as an intender, as a mentor, you can only do so much. It's up to that individual. It is up to that man. It's his free will. It's of his own accord. If he's not about it, if it clicks in him, it's like, man, this ain't for me, then that's on him. Yeah, it really truly is.
It's our job to set expectations, find out why he wants to be here, give him a path to achieve that success that he's looking for. Mm-hmm. But then ultimately, all we can do is open that door to the lodge for him. Mm-hmm. You can't shove the guy through. No, he's got to willingly walk through it and go, yeah, I want to do this. I want to be a part of this.
When the junior deacon, and I don't know if this is different in other jurisdictions, but when the junior deacon brings a canon to the door, he knocks. Yep. The canon is knocking. You cannot knock on his behalf.
Yep.
And
right.
that's
You're right. Yeah.
I don't know if any of you have been a secretary of a lodge, and I've done interrogatories.
Oh yeah.
And looking right at them, and I've had the displeasure of walking back in. Worst fault, he's not going through.
During the degree.
First degree.
Wow.
I've only had to do that.
I mean,
not what
that
you
is,
did, but I only had to do
but that's like
interrogatory.
But
I'm glad I've never had anybody freak out. I've heard those stories.
They're usually pretty enjoyable.
I'm still happy that I have never seen somebody freak out yet. So
I've seen a couple guys freak out.
Oh man, I'm glad.
One guy get scared, and another guy start swinging.
Well, that's also one of the reasons, though, where it's also important to get to know these guys.
Oh yeah,
go hang out and have dinner once or twice before you're like, please take off your clothes, put on these clothes I just produced that seem very strange, and go ahead and get blindfolded.
Yeah. Ooh. You know what though? See, that's why if I can talk to the candidate beforehand, I try to I talk to them. I'm like, you excited? No, whatever. And then I tell them. I look them in the eye too. I'm like, look, man, I need you to understand something. I want you to do one thing, okay? And when you're there, is to listen. Listen to everything that's going on and try to absorb as much of that as you can. And not only that, keep in your head, keep in your mind and your thoughts that everything you are about to do, I did. Every man in that room did. Every man before you did. Men like George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, they all did what you're about to do.
Marty Quellish.
Yeah, Marty Quills did it. Okay? I mean, if he could do it, anybody could do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's
that voice is Eric Maxa, who's helping us with the audio and cameras today.
Who?
Erica. Maxima.
Mara.
Maya.
But I mean, that's a super important part of being a Masonic mentor, especially for that first degree. Because that first degree, that's this gentleman's first exposure to Masonry, other than showing up for dinner and seeing a bunch of guys eating green beans and pancakes.
And hashed over
Green beans and pancakes.
I mean,
hashed over crock pot.
your most nervous moment in Masonry is going to be before that first degree. So as a good mentor, you want to see, all right, what kind of vibe does this guy have? Is he nervous? Is he freaking out? What can I do to put this guy at ease? And kind of, you don't want to spoil what's about to happen for him, but you at least want to give him enough of a heads up, like, all right, this kind of stuff might happen, this kind of stuff might happen, here's what you should expect, just so you can kind of get the guy to come down a little bit, so it's actually a memorable experience.
And then you gotta gauge, what the level of hazing you're going to do.
There's no hazing.
Yeah, we're not a fraternity, we're not playing grab ass, there's Yoshi's not even allowed in degrees.
Okay.
It's fine.
Well, with that, we're going to have to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Boing, boing, boing.
And we're back. Okay, so also in the intender, it says here there's some values we should live by. The values of a Mason should live by a belief in a supreme being.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Remain open-minded to learn and stay on Masonry's path to moral goodness.
That's good.
Relate to other Masons on an equal basis, i.e. on the level.
Oh, I got to relate to Mark Noakes?
Avoid belittling others to enhance your own stature. Yeah.
You might have missed that one.
Yeah, we might have missed that one a little bit. Just a little bit.
We're all working on ourselves here.
Avoid contention and arguments. Wow, this episode started off really good.
Oh boy. All right. I'm going to need to see everybody's dues card.
There's two more. Strive for honesty, fidelity, integrity, tolerance, fair dealing, and charity.
Like 3 out of 6 ain't bad.
Respect for labor, craftsmanship, dedication, skill, and intelligence.
Yeah, we got the majority, so.
Intelligence. I mean, D's get you a degree.
Yeah.
We always talk about belief in a supreme being, so we're not going to get too much into that, but relate to other Masons on an equal basis.
That's actually my favorite part of this whole fraternity, is the relationships forged you wouldn't find anywhere else.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, we've talked about that a few times on the show, and that is one of my favorite parts of Freemasonry.
It's real easy when you get along with somebody.
Yeah.
What about somebody you just don't see eye to eye with at Lodge?
I mean, you love him as a brother, and that's
I've gone to Lodge, and I go to Lodge with a couple guys like that, but I don't want to argue with them or anything like that. I think a guy in our audience knows a thing or two about that.
So there's two schools of thought on that. I'm a confrontation person. I'm like, hey, let's talk. Let's work this out. Now, other people don't like that approach. And I found out the hard way once or twice in my life. And, recently I was dealing with a brother who I love, and he was saying that he really wasn't keen to be around another brother that he presumes there's some issue with. It's all kind of weird and not, it's probably factual, but no one knows. Like, well, you got to talk to him. I told him, I'd be like, well, hey, it would be a cooler move if you just came with me and that guy was there and you took 5 minutes to ask him, hey, what's up with this one thing? And then from that, you could have harmony in the lodge. But his whole thing was, he's like, or I just respect that he's a brother and I don't go out of my way to see him, but I don't hold any ill will. And by just not dealing with it, I'm also providing harmony. And I was like, God, I can't say either of us are right or wrong because we both have a very valid point there.
You know what? No, they are. They're both really good, valid points. And honestly, for the most part, I have your approach, with it. It's like, hey, what's wrong? Let's talk.
But I'm a cards on the table guy.
Yeah,
in every situation.
I mean, there's only, I can't even count really how, it's not even, I can count on one hand, less than my hand, who I really don't even really want to talk to.
It's 4 people.
Probably.
And they're at the table right now.
Yeah, pretty much. I do this you
do it for the
I
money.
got involved, I do it for the fame. That's all I do this for. These guys can, just...
We haven't paid for a meal at Arby's in years.
Yeah. No, and I mean, the concept, it's very similar to something in the Army where, you respect the rank, you don't respect the guy. And that's something that you learn in boot camp when you're being taught on how to salute. You are never saluting a man. You are saluting the rank. And it's something that Masonry very much teaches you. It's, the foundation of Masonry is, at the end of the day, we're all brothers.
Yeah.
In theory, if you and I are on the polar opposites of something, we should be able to come together as brothers, talk about our differences. At the end of that, we should be able to embrace each other and walk away as brothers.
Yeah.
Sometimes that doesn't happen, but that doesn't mean we still can't come together and respect each other. We can't
Oh
coexist.
yeah, no.
I agree
Like
with that,
any,
yeah.
okay, honestly, dude, I don't wish any ill will to anybody. I really don't have that huge of a problem with anybody. Like everybody I know in the fraternity, I'll go have a beer with them. I'll go out to dinner with them. I'll go to their lot. I don't care. Even the little situation I had, I don't care. I'd still go over there. I may crack a joke or two, but I'm still going to go there. That's the bottom line.
I mean, that's
is I still love them as a brother.
As
It's
a
not-
Mason, you assume that you have the same moral foundation as they do. So regardless of anything that's happened, you still have something in common with them, and you still want to see the best in people, especially in a brother Mason.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, Mark?
I do actually. That's where email and texting has a problem a lot of times. You can't read of it. I mean, a lot of times, and Marty, most of you guys know this, I'll pick up the phone. And I'll call somebody.
You call me. I get on a conference call at work. Then you have a neck. The minute I'm preoccupied at work is when you call me. We need to work on that.
We do. But no,
Phone call Marty Maverick here.
Oh yeah, just feel free to come.
Come on.
Just
It's
don't
fine.
trip over anything.
No,
we don't
but-
want.
All the other girls do it, so.
All right.
No, but the deal is, I'll pick up the phone and say, hey, bro, what's going on here? Because I don't want to respond and make the episode worse. Really don't.
Well, no, actually, in a weird way, you did that today when you messaged me and said, I'm confused. Are we talking about all of the cryptic accounts or the grotto? And I said, I think all of them at once in that one chat.
I spilled them all out.
I know.
I'm totally confused today.
No, but it's like, and then also too is, being a good brother is also when you're not involved to kind of bridge that gap.
Yeah.
Because I've had to do that. I remember, not going to name names. I remember there was a thing going on between two guys. They were in the run for something, and we were all at a party. And I wanted to get a nice group shot. One of them was like, "Nah, I wouldn't. It's not right. It's not right. And I'm like, "What do you mean it's not right? Dude, just because you guys are running against each other doesn't mean you guys aren't brothers, right? That's your brother over there." And he looked me in the eye, and he's like, "You know what? I'm sorry, and you're right." And we took this picture, and everything was fine. It's sometimes you got to be reminded. Sometimes I've said it 1,000 times. Guys have forgotten their obligations, forgotten their oaths. They need to remember.
All right, so I'm going to jump off of that. Avoid belittling others to enhance your own stature.
There's a lot of guys that need to read that.
We belittle each other just to belittle each other.
Well, that's lodge culture.
Yeah,
Our lodge we're rough. If you can't hang, you can't hang.
But I mean, that also speaks to the importance of being able to establish those relationships. Because I've actually had this happen with good friends of mine who have not spent a lot of time around Marty and I. Now, Marty is one of my best friends. Marty and I will have very heated conversations from the outside looking in. But that's just how Marty and I are talking. We're just throwing ideas back and forth. And then a lot of guys going like, "Hey, why are you and Marty arguing?" And I'll just be like, "What?" It's like, you guys look like you were screaming and yelling about to come to blows.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're just trying to figure out what's for dinner.
We're men of passion.
Yeah.
Dude, that's happened to me and Marty plenty of times. We had a what was he, a district deputy? I forget who it was, but
District deputy,
was it a district deputy? Came in, saw me and the Marty, the way we act with each other, talk to each other. He pulled the worshipful aside. He's like, "Is there a problem between Brother Sanchez and Brother Philos?"
Yeah, they've been best friends for 25 years.
Yeah. He's like, "No, they've known each other 20 plus years."
There's 25 years of problems. It's all bubbling up in Lodge tonight.
How much time you got, friend?
Yeah, how much time you got?
But I think this is more of really talking down to somebody because oh well, I've been involved for this long, and you're just a little
Let me give you a great example. This happened to me personally. I got raised. 3 months later, I got put in and voted in, not put in, voted as secretary of the lodge. Many of the past masters didn't think I deserved it because I wasn't in the fraternity long enough. And full circle comes around, I make master, but That happened.
Yeah.
It
No,
happened.
that does happen.
I mean, it's like,
there
wow.
there are guys
But were any
who
of
will
them
look
willing
at
to
you.
step up to do it?
Yeah,
Zero.
yeah, exactly.
There you go.
See, like guys like that, they need to pipe down. They need to pipe down.
Well, actually, I do have a take on this, though. And this is something that I've been, kind of something I've been growing with and trying to think about. That sometimes interactions between people are crass. And why are they crass? And it kind of brings me to, in a strange way, male culture. I'm really not tuned in with some weird new wave men should do this and wear pretty dresses or that crazy shit. And that's not a political statement. But men in general, really, I don't know if we always convey our emotions the best or we're always level-headed in situations. We don't always react, so hear me out. So no matter everyone in that room, there's one thing they love. There's one reason they're in that building because we all love this one thing. We love it for different reasons, but we love it equally. We're all giving up time at home, sitting on the chair. Do you know how many TV series I've never seen because I'm at lodge and people want to talk to me about my work and I'm like, I'm not sure what that is. This Yellowstone sounds super cool, but I go places at
1883.
night. Okay, I've heard that too. But so guys always get in this crazy defensive, I don't know how to communicate this strong emotion I'm feeling, so I'm gonna kind of come off brash. And that's when you always gotta ask yourself, okay, was that dude just kind of a stroke to me because he's truly a stroke, or hear me out, or because he feels passionate about this one thing and he doesn't know how to communicate something that is intimate to him, to me in that manner? And that's a real question for me.
Well, there's a difference between being nice and kind.
You know, again,
You know, I mean, being kind to your brethren, but it doesn't mean you have to be nice about every little thing.
Sure.
Well,
like you said,
and also,
I don't know what it is.
Answer part of your question is, in our culture, a lot of large lodges have merged into other lodges, and then they bring that angst with them.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
they bring it with them.
When a lodge that has their own personality, their own identity, merges with another lodge that has their own personality and identity, and sometimes, members kind of
It's no different than in a family dynamic where if you have, two people who have children get married and all of a sudden you're taking both two separate families and you're cramming them together.
Yeah.
It's like you've got one lodge who might have a long storied personality and all these guys have known each other forever and they know how to talk to each other and they know that when Marty is going nuts about the color blue, that's just Marty being Marty. And then when you throw him into a bunch of guys who have never met Marty and they see Marty getting all hot and bothered and excited about something because that's just Marty, they can look at him and go, holy crap, this guy's about to blow a gasket.
I want to live in a world where I'm not always the example.
It's going to be quite difficult.
Oh yeah, dude, nah.
I mean, arguments are going to happen. I mean, be kind. You can disagree with something. It doesn't mean you have to be so nice that we can do it. No, if you don't want to do something, you don't think it's right for the lodge, speak up, say so. But
we all have a voice. We all have a voice.
Right.
We all have a vote.
But there's no reason to put anybody down because it's somebody's opinion or something like that.
No, you should.
And just disagreeing is not putting somebody down.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this real
exactly.
simple.
Yeah.
How about that? I'll try to make this real simple.
You do it, Mark.
Yeah, Mark.
This is a volunteer organization. We're not getting paid for this.
I am losing money by the minute.
We're not getting paid for this. We do this because we love it.
We
love it.
We pay money to do this.
We don't get paid for this.
And what do we decide to do? Oh, let's do a podcast where we talk about masonry. We're just throwing more money into masonry, making more Masonic things for us to do.
Dude, every time something comes up, it's like, another thing to do.
Yeah.
Well, let me give you another example. All of us here at the table, we've all sat in different appendant bodies. Mm-hmm. And we've been head of appendant bodies where we didn't like the people that were with us, but we respected them because they were voted into that position. Yep. And you just move on and you make the best out of it.
Yep.
It's hard sometimes.
Oh my God. One of the first things that was ever told to me, and this was when I was going through my intender program, and this isn't in the book, but this is what my intender told me. Shout out Jay, I love you, and thank you for bringing me up the right way. He said, if you have a good worshipful master, don't get excited about it. He's only there for 1 year. However, if you have a bad worshipful master, don't worry about it.
He's
only there for 1 year.
Which it's one of those. He said that to me, and it kind of didn't dawn on me till I guess I had more years of the game. Because a year at the time, I'm like, I just got here. That sounds weird.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, okay, I'm going on 12 years, and it's. I've seen people go. I've seen people flourish. I've seen people not flourish, and the machine moves.
But when you see everything flourish for you, once you've been a master, when you appoint that person to the bottom of the line, and several years later, as they go through and they've matured and grown, and good, that's where you see your work. That's where you see it.
No, like looking at guys that have come in after after I've come in, after like I've been worshipful, they came in my year as worshipful, or like a couple of years after I was worshipful, and watching them grow and then join other things. It's a good feeling. Like those are the success stories that you look at.
Yeah, no more ritual knots.
I know. What the hell? Like that's Jack.
Or you have or you have a gentleman by the name of Brian that learns everything in 13 months and is a CLI. I'm like, wow.
Well, some guys just absorb that stuff.
Jeez.
Well, and I think Masonry is one of the few things in life that gives you the promised thing that it's a safe space for disagreement, because we're all supposed to have common connection with each other. We're all supposed to respect each other enough to where if you have a different opinion than I do, let me hear it. We can talk about it. We can have a conversation.
As long as it's not through Facebook.
Yes.
If we could all govern ourselves accordingly on social media too, that'd be great.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, like if we could all act how we act at Lodge on Facebook, it'd be good.
So what's messed up? Going back to when I got in, I was going through my intender program. I'd be in Lodge meetings, or I just got in, or I was raised, or whatever. And people were like, "Well, should Masonry be on social media?" And a few of the old timers would be like, "Nah, I ain't gonna work out for nobody." And no, hear me out. Then I was like, "Oh, they're just older and they don't understand the power of the World Wide Web and the new form of communications." Turns out they were right.
More than right.
Yeah.
But it all goes down to like. See, I still love it though. God, I don't want to talk crap, but I've seen so many guys like losing it on Facebook. Just fighting it out. But then we see them.
I mean, one of the first things that we're taught in Masonry is we came here to learn to subdue our passions. And social media gives you 7 million times a day where you should learn how to subdue your passions. And so many people have lost sight of this guy really pissed me off. Let me just scroll on to the next guy that's pissing me off. I'm looking for that cat picture. It's going to be in there somewhere else. Yep. But instead, Masons see something on Facebook, and it's like every single thing. It's like they've got to engage, and they've got to scream and yell.
But then again, it goes back, but like I was trying to say, is like, but then most of the time when you get them in Lodge together, it ain't like that at all.
Yeah.
It ain't like that at all.
I mean, it's the stereotypical keyboard warrior, where when you're at home and you've got your anonymity, it's like, I can say whatever I want. And then you get them in Lodge, and they're just a quiet guy who doesn't want to say anything. They're yes sir, nice, no sir. They're super polite and nice.
Yep.
For that
just
reason,
here for my hashed over crock pot.
I've stopped posting, on Facebook because
and Facebook has gotten so much better with you off.
I know it has.
I have noticed there is so much more harmony in this craft.
Yeah, right.
It is amazing.
I'm just like, what's the point of getting upset and just forget it? Just what? Just don't even bother. If I read it. Just don't. Whatever.
So I feel like
and that's it.
If you read something on Facebook and you get that visceral of a reaction, like just accept that you've lost and close the computer.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
Go outside, get some fresh air.
It doesn't make sense. It's gone against everything that I wanted to be.
Bruce Lee has a really good quote about that. Like when you react to it's to summarize. I can't quote it, but to summarize it, when you react to something, that thing has power over you.
Yeah.
And recently I had to flash back to a time online where if you asked me. I got some stupid Facebook debate. If you asked me years ago, I thought I had the moral high ground. Well, a little bit wiser, spent a little bit more time reading my Masonic ritual books, thinking about the ritual, thinking about everything presented. It turns out I really was wrong on that one.
Yeah, it looks like I'm not the only one who attends your morning cringe therapy of hitting that memories button on Facebook. It's like, 10 years ago,
right?
Questionable moral judgment.
Well, just because you've gone through it doesn't mean you remember everything. You need to go back and have a refresher every now and then.
No, yeah, you need you need that to pop back to be like, all right, you know what? I was a different me. I'm a new me. I got to move on from it. I got to learn from that. Because everything, that's all life is. Life is nothing but, what?
The person I hit up, did I got it wrong? Or that wasn't really as
Oh,
as I
yeah,
thought?
yeah.
Oh, you know about this?
I think I do.
All right. So I'm gonna tell the story real quick. So this friend of mine decided to become a vegan. I'm not a vegan.
Okay.
And she had, I don't know, something started on one of her things where she had some person who was coaching her in the vegan lifestyle, talking about how great veganism is and how I'm a murderer and I'm a speciesist, and yes, that was a word that was used. And then it just derailed into insanity where I was arguing with this gentleman on her timeline. And I don't know. And then it got even goofier because then he said he'd only been a vegan for 6 weeks. I was like, whoa, calm down. I was like, you're the most militant human I've ever met. And then either way, so me and her stopped talking because she was like, her thing was like, how about you just stop being like a dick on my
Hey,
Facebook?
get off my wall, please.
Yeah, and that was her stance, and I'm like, no, this guy's insane. And I might have been right that this guy was insane. I didn't need to engage with him. That was stupid on my part. So actually, the other day, I kind of realized I'm going to a concert where we still like the same band. There's a good chance I'm gonna see her. So I was like, I still got her number. So I wrote her a message. I said, hey, what's up? Check it out. I know we haven't talked in a few years. 100% my fault. Are you going to this show? And she was like, holy crap, where have you been? I'm like,
I have not been vegan.
When did you? Is the 6 week vegan with you?
No, she's not even a vegan anymore. I don't think.
Oh no. So
think
you were right all along.
Wait. No, you know what? No, that's not for here. We're gonna talk a little later. We're gonna talk because I remember all of this. So we're gonna talk later. This is not for the show.
It sounds like a movie or a title for the book. The
I think
6
she
week
does
vegan.
like keto now, or she only eats veal. I don't know what she's doing now.
I think the moral of the story was, despite Marty's enlightenment, he was right all along.
I shouldn't have engaged poorly.
They're not
You should not have
right?
engaged,
So
but
we-
you
No,
were right.
don't even.
I love everybody. And for all you people that hop on a new fad every few months, thank you. You are my inspiration.
Yeah. All right. So with that, it comes to our favorite time of the show.
Is it time already? Wow, this went by really fast.
Went by a little fast. So does anybody have a shout out for shots and shout out?
I do.
Okay.
I have one after you.
All right.
I've
so
got
we got
one
two.
after both of you.
We're doing
three.
Are we all just doing a bunch of them? All right, let's do a bunch
Yeah.
of them.
Go for it, Marty.
All right. So recently today, I had one of those situations where I got to engage with a brother, and the way the conversation started was kind of a little bit weird. However, shout out to one of the coolest guys I ever met. Shout out to people getting to know each other. So my shout out is, and hopefully you're going to meet this guy pretty soon on the show, because we ended up becoming like best friends today within like 3 hours. Which started on a hostile conversation, which is even more.
So he's not one of the guys that has like canceled like 3 or 4 times on us.
No, this guy will be good.
So that's for another episode.
Yeah.
Okay,
When this guy does a disappearing
Shout out
act, it'll
to
be a
the
good thing.
mysterious Council of 9, Cryptic Council. That's either in Oklahoma or Arkansas. Again, I'm bringing that back up, but I think he's in Oklahoma.
Shout out to Oklahoma and
But
Arkansas.
my man Dan, I got a bunch of your books at home, and I didn't know that. And it turns out you watched my show, which was weird. So shout out to all the Masons making media. Shout out to all the friends we don't have yet. I love you, Dan. You're my new best friend.
Well, let Mark go.
Oh, we'll
last.
let Mark go now.
No.
Oh, okay.
I actually, my shout out is it's about a month from now. I have an opportunity to do a Masonic funeral for a dear friend.
Oh.
And actually,
A month from now? Are you going to kill him?
he's dead already.
I'm glad
Once I get this ritual down here.
I am glad I'm
You
the
were
only
right
one that
here.
was thinking.
You were right here, and
And this is where the rubber meets the road. Not only is he my Masonic brother, he's my spiritual brother also in Christ, in church. And it's probably going to be one of the hardest things I'm ever going to have to do.
I'm sorry I made a joke about that.
No, he would appreciate it.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
He'd appreciate it.
Because I wasn't going to apologize. No, I'm just kidding.
Doing the Masonic funeral for him, and it's all good. It's
you know
good.
what? Honestly, it's a good honor. It is. It's a hard thing to get through, but that's an honor. To do that for a brother.
Yeah, because I'm being in front of 250 people doing this thing, and scared.
You're doing the master's work?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, you're definitely going to need that.
Yeah, because I was approached in the Northwest to start doing that, the master's work.
It's important.
Because our other friend is not doing it as much anymore. Not to be mentioned.
Yeah, that's it. Subscribe to our Patreon. We name names there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have Patreon.
Wes.
Well,
I would like to give a shout out to my good brother, Mark Noakes. I give him a hard time a lot. I might ask him what his purpose is in life. I might bring up dolphins a lot, but what that man just admitted to, being able to do the master's work in a funeral is something that I am terrified to do. And that makes you a better Mason than I.
Thank
To
you.
Mark.
There you go.
The worst part about it,
Not bad.
with this brother, his son-in-law is a major in the Marine Corps, sitting staring at me in the audience.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, it's like, ooh.
All right. Well, Mark, thanks for coming on. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Love you.
All right. Well, everyone,
I don't
that's
love
that's the end of our show.
my
Thanks for
purpose.
watching. If you haven't figured it out, you're watching us on YouTube or listening to us on Buzzsprout, iTunes, Google Play, all that stuff. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. We are on Twitter, but nobody pays attention to us on there. So
And I'll add one last piece. In the Freemasonry magazine coming up in the spring, I'll have another article in there about High 12, what we do, and its purpose, so everybody understands what we do.
so
nice.
another chance for you to be confused about High 12 until we do another episode.
And if you
All
could
right.
drop your favorite dolphin story down in the comments, that'd be great.
Yep.
All right, everyone, we gotta go.
F's in the
Thanks
chat.
for watching. Take care.
Ship boing, boing, boing.